Hello, I am Reverend Penny Honey. Welcome to Unity of Flagstaff. Thank you for joining us today. Here at Unity of Flagstaff, we like to say that God is just too big to fit into religion. All are welcome, always have been, and always will be. So wherever you are on your spiritual journey, and whatever path that is that you're taking, know that we hold with you in consciousness that path and that knowing. Anything that you'd like to know about the ministry, of course, you can find at unityofflagstaff.org. And we appreciate your ongoing support of this community. You may donate at www.unityofflagstaff.org/donate. If not there, please feel free to donate at P.O. Box 1740, Flagstaff, Arizona, 86002. Thank you again for your ongoing support, my friends. Know that we are here to support you. 24/7 prayer is available at Silent Unity. Please check that out at unity.org. Namaste, my friends. Join with me now, won't you, for this opening prayer. Divine One, Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, the All-Knowing, we stand ready and willing now as we move toward this time of feeding our souls, and we give thanks for the opportunity to connect in this way. Thank you, Spirit, for the ongoing presence in our life, the omnipresence. And thank you, Spirit, for the courage, the knowing, and the willingness to express through us as us. We are grateful, and we open our minds and our hearts now to receive that divine inspiration and guidance. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And our unity principle for today is unity principle number 2. Human beings are divine at the core and therefore inherently good. Check out all of the unity principles at unity.org or on our website, www.unityofflagstaff.org.
Good morning. This is Bruce. Welcome to my Spiritual Minute. Today, Penni is speaking about a new thought take on Lent, an invitation to fast from behaviors, practices, and thoughts that deny or separate us from our divine nature and to feast on the things of spirit. One might think that after 70 years, well, now 71 years, that I might have this down. Nope. For me, at least, it is usually through adverse experiences that I find myself invited into growth. Beginning last fall, I finally adopted a daily morning meditation practice. Just 15 minutes I set aside as my time to practice mindfulness about my emotional state beginning the day, how I want to meet it in gratitude, awareness of my energy and that of everything around me, without judgment and with the goal of a peaceful mind. It has helped quite a bit with having a peaceful reaction to mistakes I make or disruptive things people around me may do. But many challenges remain, of course. Last week, when a plumber parked his truck on a hill, on a turn, in the only open lane of our street, leading us to becoming stuck, I lost it. How could someone be so inconsiderate and ignorant? Later, as I reflected on it, I became quite ashamed of my reaction the effect it had on others around me. But there is hope. Just a few days later, as a fellow was driving 20 in a 45 on West Route 66, I kept my cool, even though he was holding many people up and making ineffective choices to let us by. So, I am making progress in this season of Lent. I've mostly overcome my irritation with bulky electronics, and now maybe, just maybe, with judgments about seemingly inept drivers. May your season of Lent bring you peace even in the storm.
So this is a song I heard for the first time about 10 years ago, and the text is by Rumi, the Sufi poet, but the music is set by my friend Sean Shea. And I met Sean at this hippie commune in Umpqua, Oregon, when I was like 19 or 20. I'd never been to Oregon before, never been to this hippie commune. It's called the Sant Mat community, and their whole spiritual philosophy is know thyself. It says it everywhere. And I remember at the time being like 19 or 20, being just so annoyed with this idea because it seems so selfish and navel-gazy and inward-focused. And it's crazy now, and I was just so passionate about, like, we got to fix the world, we got to change things. And now that I'm 30, it's this weird thing looking back that I think I agree with them all more about this song. It makes sense that we kind of have to know ourselves and our own foibles and our own issues in order to make any impact in the world. So he has a song called Plant Only Love that I'll play, and it's been a long, long time since I played or heard this, but I thought of it, and I actually messaged him the other day to get this song in like last minute. Like, hey, can you send me the chart? I haven't talked to him in like 4 or 5 years, so he sent it right away. So Plant Only Love. When you plant a tree, every leaf silently declares, every seed you sow will bear fruit. So if you have some common sense, considering the consequences, my dear, do not plant anything but love. Plant only love. Plant only love. If you want love to grow, take care of what you sow, my dear. Do not plant anything but love. The object of your inner thirst reflects your basic inner worth. Water flows from the source above. If you aspire to something higher, wash your hands of all desire. Come clean to the table of love. Plant only love. Plant only love. If you want love to grow, take care of what you sow, my dear. Do not plant anything but love.
And now I invite you into just a quiet moment as we observe the practice of meditation. I encourage you to take a deep breath and feel your body resting as you are grounding into the earth and feeling that source of power within. We start to recognize the light that emanates from within us. And we feel that healing light moving through our bodies, comforting us, easing our minds as we rest We rest in the knowing that we are one with the infinite intelligence. We fast from thoughts that separate us from this knowing. And we open ourselves to feast upon the divine nature thoughts that bring us closer to that expression. For this we are grateful. And so it is, and so we let it be. Thank you, my friends.
I'm inside out, outside looking in. No matter where I go, I can't escape my own skin. I can act cool, I can act proud. No matter how I act, I'm still alone in a crowd. I'm inside out, on the outside looking in. I signed up for the Cub Scouts, I went out for the team. I dressed the dress and I talked the talk of the preppies, jocks and freaks. But that sense of true belonging did not belong to me. So I found my place in the fantasy of how great one day I'd be. I was inside out, on the outside looking in. I'm inside out, outside looking in. No matter where I go, I can't escape my own skin. I can act cool, I can act proud. No matter how I act, I'm still alone in a crowd. I'm inside out, on the outside looking in. I tried to be in love when I was much too young. I could not match my actions with the words on my tongue. So I went through several versions of my cold and hostile mom. They all swore I was too distant, and the distance they'd be gone. I was inside out, on the outside looking in. I'm inside out, outside looking in. No matter where I go, I can't escape my own skin. I can act cool, I can act proud. No matter how I act, I'm still alone in a crowd. I'm inside out, on the outside looking in. I found the great equalizer, a substance quick and warm. It made me feel like Wonder Boy, eloquently adorned. But that word moderation was 4 years beyond my speech. There was a time bomb of emotion stuffed inside of me, and I was inside out, on the outside looking in. I'm inside out, outside looking in. No matter where I go, I can't escape my own skin. I can act cool, I can act proud. No matter how I act, I'm still alone in a crowd. Inside out, on the outside looking in. I was inside out, on the outside looking in.
So anyone ever feel like that? That you were inside out, outside looking in? Did you ever surprise yourself by what you saw? Anyone out there like surprises? I do, most of the time. So today's message is, know thyself. You may be surprised. This past Wednesday was Ash Wednesday. And that's not something that we here in this Unity community do much about. But what we know about the Lenten season and it having begun, is that it's the opportunity for, self-awareness and self-improvement. Of course, New Thought has a different spin on Lent than traditional communities do. And although Lent is a church institution, it's really not mentioned in the Bible, the Unity textbook as we like to refer to it. And even though it's not mentioned, it is a church-created day. It still is a very sound spiritual practice. I mean, consider it. 40 days of introspection, reflection, meditation, prayer, and fasting before the feast of Easter. In New Thought, the fasting is not about giving up chocolate or some other habit, but it's about fasting from behaviors and practices, thoughts that deny us or separate us from our own divinity and knowing our divine nature. To feast on the things of spirit after the fast, like reaching for a raised consciousness of Christ-like behaviors. Know thyself. And I say, you may be surprised. The most important study is our own mind, not only the intellectual mind, but the spiritual mind, is what Charles Fillmore, of course, one of our Unity co-founders, said. Know thyself is an ancient Greek saying, aphorism, and it's an inspiration and an inscription that is on the temple of Apollo at Delphi. Charles Fillmore told us this in Keep a True Lent. He said that we should have it inscribed, the saying, know thyself. We should have it inscribed on our own temples. We should have it inscribed over the door of our mind. He reminds us, know thyself. Know who and what you are, where you came from, what you're doing here, and where you are going. Now, I don't think he meant that I am Jake and Nancy's daughter, and that I'm a minister, and that my zip code is 8600, whatever that is. It is beyond the ordinary self-knowledge that he's referencing. That ordinary self-knowledge that typically is about personality. Throw in a little ego and it's not only what we think we are, but who we think we are. We're talking about the genuine self-knowledge that is about our Christ selves. We gain our quest for self-knowledge, according to Paul Hesselbeck in Heart-Centered Metaphysics, by realizing that the source of all wisdom is within the spectrum of our own consciousness. Now let me say that again. By realizing that the source of all wisdom, like we talked about last week, is within the spectrum of our own consciousness, this is knowing thyself. And this relates to Lent how? Well, thank you for asking. Lent, in its traditional sense, probably not so much does this relate to that. However, in metaphysical terms, as we've spoken about earlier, or New Thought, or Unity Speak, whatever you want to reference it as, it is the beliefs, the words, and the behaviors we relinquish our thoughts that stand in the way, that keep us from living more peacefully, more authentically, with meaning and with purpose. As we mentioned before, fasting is an invitation to fast from behavior practices and thoughts that deny us and separate us from our divine nature. Charles Fillmore strongly encourages this way of being. He reminds us that all things are in the consciousness, and you have to learn to separate the erroneous from the true, the darkness from the light. And we keep doing this, he tells us, until we are aware of the perfect divine child of God that we are, and we manifest in our lives accordingly. That makes fasting a whole different gig, doesn't it? And feasting? Oh, well, feasting, on the other hand, is the daily practice of engaging in thinking and ways of being that foster peace and gratitude and appreciation. We feast upon the thoughts that feed our divine nature. We touch on compassion. We experience personal growth and transformation and being of service to others. Anyone up for a smorgasbord like that? Quite a feast. The great work of your life that you can choose, Paul Hasselbeck tells us, is that each individual is the perfection of consciousness through individual evolution. This is the seed that Ryan mentioned and reminded us to plant only love. This is the seed in the collective consciousness. By divine mind, know that. Know thyself and know that. By watching our consciousness and its impulses and its desires, just like a chemist watching their solutions, we form our own consciousness from the elements of God mind. This is the Christ consciousness that we talk about. And you may surprise yourself at how deep that runs and how fulfilling that can be. Fun to be surprised like that, isn't it? And as we know, we are only, and only are we, responsible for the results of this. Know your own self. It is in this practice, it's in this commitment to unfold our spiritual potential, knowing oneself that the promise of fulfillment can be found. Anyone looking for that? What a nice surprise to find that in your life. The next 40 days, I encourage you to turn from the simple act of giving up things, fasting from those things that separate you from your divinity, to a more positive commitment of taking up the practice of high-level thinking, forming habits of reaching for the highest point of view in all your dealings, in all your efforts. I am guessing you will surprise yourself. Namaste, my friends.
Keep rolling. Speak and open up your mind. It's something you should do all the time. Keep exploring, seek and find. You know you might surprise yourself. Talk without a tape to hold. The doubts that should embrace your hope. The common chaos of your soul. You know you might surprise yourself. Take a pen and write this down. Draw something that can't be found. Learn to walk against some hell. You know you might surprise yourself. Lover, if you only knew the time that train had fooled me to, and tears me from a place I know. It helps me to surprise myself. You know you can surprise yourself. So let go and surprise yourself.
Affirm with me. Our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and all is well. Blessings, my friends. And thank you once again for joining us. I like to say we're open every Sunday here at 1800 South Milton, Unity of Flagstaff, of course, Suite 103. Won't you stop by and see us on a Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m.? If not here, of course, on our YouTube channel at youtube.unityofflagstaff.org. And everything you want to know about the ministry you can find on our website at www.unityofflagstaff.org. Be blessed, my friends. Feast away on those positive thoughts and those things that bring you closer to your divine expression. It is who you are. Know thyself and have a great week. Blessings.